The Winnipeg Jets were reverse swept by the Colorado Avalanche last night. We've lost the Winnipeg Jets. And in 2 playoff appearances, the Winnipeg Jets have won 2 games. One against the Golden Knights, one against the Colorado Avalanche. Now, listen, Colorado Avalanche, I just want to say that I picked the Colorado Avalanche to beat the Jets.
Good for you. I think you were the only one, did you?
Yeah, I had Winnipeg.
So did I.
The Winnipeg Jets looked so much stronger this year in the regular season than they did last year. So much stronger. Like the Vegas series, they were the clear underdogs. This one felt evenly matched. Why, guys, did it end up not being so?
The best defense in the NHL and arguably the best goalie in the NHL got frigging shelled. It was complete unstoppable force meets entirely fragile and breakable object, apparently. They were just a battering ram. Their ads at the deadline came up big.
Middle stat, big.
Valerie Nichushkin is such a ridiculous playoff performer, and the Avalanche missed him so much. Cale Makar is a superstar. And after a really bad game 1, Alexander Georgiev settled in.
Yes, he did.
Like, it became obvious early in the series, like we've misread this a little bit. If the Avalanche get at least equal goaltending to the Winnipeg Jets, they'll win the series for sure. And they got more than that.
So, guys, let me throw something at you. How many games, regular season games, has Connor Hellebuyck played in the last 3 seasons combined? Take a guess.
Not enough. Sorry, Martin Brodeur possessed me for a moment there. 175.
Jesse.
3 seasons combined?
Yeah.
So if it was 60, it'd be 60, 60, 60, it'd be like 180. I would say 180.
190.
Wow!
He regularly gets between 3,500 and 4,000 minutes on the ice.
God damn.
And,
how about that there, Martin?
And
how about that?
Connor Hellebuyck is 30 years old. And he's been a fantastic goaltender. He plays the Brodeur 60 games, whatever, and he's been amazing for Winnipeg. But to me in this series, that is like Winnipeg lives and dies by Connor Hellebuyck, and they should. But at some point, you got to sit down and talk to your goalie and say, "Listen, we have a good backup.
Laurent was real good.
Was really good. Why can't we have you at 50 and him at 32?" Ideally.
You couldn't have taken 10 games off his plate? Like even 10.
And I know that they were in a race for the top of the division, but even so, okay, top of the division, they would have played Vegas.
Well, home ice didn't help you, did it?
No.
It didn't.
You had home ice in the series. It didn't help.
Mm-hmm.
So, I think, it's a little revisionist, obviously, like heading into the series where like they have 2 really good goalies and the best one and a really good defense. They're going to be fine. And they added an offense. And their offensive contributors who they got were good.
Well, here are Connor Hellebuyck's numbers in the last 3 years combined for save percentage.
Playoffs or
playoff save percentage?
Playoffs, okay.
Regular season save percentage is 910, 920, and then 921. So very, very good.
Pretty damn
Vezina.
Vezina.
Yep.
2021 Jets, 931 save percentage. Unbelievable.
Unbeatable.
The fact that they only got 8 games into that playoff is crazy. Okay. Number 2, 2022-23. 886.
Oh, horrendous.
This year, 870.
Oh.
So listen, is it revisionist or is it a trend? And after the season ends, you kind of have to get a little bit like, well, where are the trends?
Well, and also, I think the key here is you look at how poorly he did in these playoffs and how poorly he did in last playoffs. Those are 2 completely different Jets teams.
Yes, without question. The Jets are way better this year. Way better.
Well, like just in terms of like personnel and roster construction, like completely different teams. And it was near identical result. That's frightening if you're the Jets.
The big difference is Rick Bowness didn't get on the microphone right after the game and go, our efforts sucked. That was terrible. I think they were just overmatched. And you look at, so I'm going to spotlight Casey Middlestat and Tyler Toffoli.
Okay.
Tyler Toffoli started this game on the 4th line. He was not playing great. He did score.
He sure did.
And
well, you give stars a 4th line opportunity. So, sometimes they do things for you.
Let's pretend we're all Jesse and NHL 24. Okay.
All right. So we're losing.
Who are we going after first? Are we going after Casey Middlestat or are we going after Tyler Toffoli? And I think the answer 10 out of 10 times is probably one Tyler Toffoli.
Well, you know what I think. Sorry. No.
Yeah, definitely.
Right.
Sure.
And yet Casey Middlestat fit the lineup.
They needed a second line center, and they got a real good one. You replaced Ryan Johansson, who went to Lehigh Valley with, actually, I don't even think he played, with Casey Middlestat, who's having a great season.
Mm-hmm.
That's a pretty big upgrade.
I can't believe Ryan Johansson is back under the Torts system. Like, that is weirdly funny because they can't stand each other.
I'm sure
He won't
I'm
be
sure
there
they'll
long.
come to an agreement.
Yeah, they'll figure something out. So we'll start there, and then the Canucks. Or
With the
not
Jets.
the Canucks. Sorry, Jets. I meant to say.
Yeah, with the Jets, there's a good argument to make that they had the worst defensive performance of any playoff team in the history of the National Hockey League.
Sorry,
Because they did
the history of the NHL.
They set a record.
Oh, that's unbelievable. I saw this.
This was from Sportsnet Stats. The Jets are the first team in NHL history to allow 5+ goals in each of their first 5 games to begin a postseason. Nobody has ever done that.
No one in the 80s?
Nobody ever
That's
has allowed
crazy.
5 goals or more in 5 straight games to begin a playoffs. And on top of that, they allowed the second most even strength goals in the first 5 games of a postseason ever.
You know why they set a record? Because most teams who allow 5 goals don't get to 5 games.
Yes.
Wow.
Yeah, and it's a
that's
breakdown defensively, and I wonder if this should I get Connor Hellebuyck struggled and all that stuff, but I wonder if this falls on Rick Bowness and his system there, because it clearly hasn't worked in the playoffs 2 times in a row. And going back to his Dallas days in 2020, because he was with the Jets in 23, so 2022 they lost in the first round.
Completely different horses.
Yeah,
They lost in the first round and they got smoked. And I wonder if it's him and the way he has these guys playing defense works great in the regular season, but when it comes to the playoffs, it turns your team into the worst postseason defensive team of all time.
I once again, for the second time this show, I'm going to bring up Bruce Boudreau, who should absolutely never be without a job. If you go and look at his record, if you look at his playoff record, though, and his record in Game 7s, it follows you around. It doesn't take long to develop that kind of reputation. And how old is Rick Bowness?
he's in his 50s, or late 50s, early 60s, I would say.
No, Rick Bowness is 69 years old.
Oh, wow.
Wow.
He's far more energetic and young for somebody I would think is 69.
So he's got to be one of the oldest, if not the oldest coach in the NHL.
Got to be one of the oldest, yeah.
Is it getting near time? Is that what you're saying?
Yeah, he coached.
Maybe.
He was an assistant. He was head coach of the Jets in 88, 89.
Wow.
He was an assistant
Wow.
in 84, 85. His first run with the
Gretzky
Jets.
was with the Kings.
Yeah. He played for...
I was with diapers. That was our first year on the planet.
Rick Bowness played for the Atlanta Flames in 1975, 1976.
Whoa.
He's been around the block.
Yeah.
So wait, what was his first coaching gig?
The Jets.
The head coach? His first
assistant
gig?
of the Jets. But he only did that for 3 seasons, and then he moved over to the Moncton Hawks of the AHL. I'll bring it up here. And then the Jets brought him back to be the head coach of their team in 88, 89.
For interim stint.
And yeah, and
But
then
he even in 82, 83 was with the Sherbrooke Jets. This dude has been coaching longer than anyone in this room has been alive.
Boston Bruins. He was the head coach, got all the way to the 3rd round, and then the next year had to go to the Senators. I forgot he was the Senators' first head coach. I forgot.
Dude, that
he's
Man.
been coaching forever.
that resume's tough.
Yeah.
That playoff resume.
There's
It's a tough
there's
one.
not a lot of success outside of the 2020 Dallas Stars run.
And maybe the 3rd round with the Tampa Bay Lightning, 17-18. I forgot they
Yeah.
got that deep.
Oh yeah.
lost
Or
in finals.
the Vancouver one. I forgot he was head coach in 2011 or associate coach. Yeah, he's not in head coach. I'm not giving him credit for that.
Interim.
Yeah. Associate coach in
2-12 and
Vancouver.
3 with the Coyotes. Oy.
Yeah.
So I'm bringing this up, Jesse. Talk about
Mhm.
fallible defense. Part of this has to be coaching because it takes more than one person subtracted from a blue line, in theory, for a blue line to be bad. But Brendan Dillon being out, they didn't seem to react too well to him not playing. And they were bad before.
If
But
one player makes your whole house of cards fall down, then you didn't have a solid foundation.
they were also missing Vlad Nemesnikov too.
With the puck to the head, yeah.
Yeah.
2 just really unlucky and unfortunate. I mean, you got a guy who was slashed by a skate in a scrum and a guy who took a puck to the head. But that's what happens.
Yeah.
That's what happens. Freakish stuff like that happens. You got to be able to adapt.
It's going to be fascinating to see what the Winnipeg Jets do, because they've been, I mean, honestly, I think it was, what's the GM's name again? It's just
Kevin Cheveldayoff.
Cheveldayoff, was a GM there for 5 years and didn't make a trade.
I know.
and they've been far more aggressive lately, especially the last 3 or 4 years. They've made some good moves. The way forward, though, I think is going to be interesting, and we'll talk about the Avs in a second, because you've made your bet. Hellebuyck is your goalie. Scheifele is your main guy. Those guys are sticking around. That's awesome.
Nothing wrong with that.
You had trouble selling tickets, though, this year.
Sure.
Economy's probably a part of that.
This is not going to help.
This is not going to help. And you need, what I saw with Colorado is their top-end guys are just so much better. And you could say that Colorado matches up pretty well against any team.
I was about to say,
But you've got Dallas. You've got potentially Vegas. You've got Colorado. These teams that you're going to have to play, like the Leafs always have to play. Is it Florida? Is it Tampa? Or is it Boston? Which one is it? They all suck. Which one do I have to play? It's going to suck. What can Winnipeg do? I think they tried to get some top-end scoring out of Toffoli. It didn't work out. Is that a coaching thing? Who knows? What do they do now? It's a tough place to get people to sign sometimes. Mm-hmm. What do you do?
Oh, boy.
Just keep going? Just keep running it back?
No.
It's a good team.
I don't. Yeah.
Real good team.
I'm struggling to find what other choice they have, but besides run it back again and hope you don't collapse.
Can you move off of Pionk? Would that help?
Mm-hmm. Which I think a puck banked off him and went in the net. There were 2 own goals last night for the Jets. Which
he shot it right into the net. It wasn't even a bank. It was right.
It
was a one-timer.
A lot of mystifying lineup decisions too. Their treatment of Nikolai Ehlers is strange.
Very strange.
Yeah, Kyle Connors, just total lack of interest in the defensive zone. Not playing Cole Perfetti every game.
Bowness does not like Perfetti.
It's weird. Maybe it's as simple as, you know what? Let's get another set of eyes here.
And maybe you can sit your goalie down and go, you can't play this much anymore.
Yeah, I know you struggle to listen. In the NHL, there's 800-900 jobs.
Mm-hmm.
It's not a lot, but it's a lot. Head coach, 32. You'll have an easier time recruiting a head coach.